Hello, I'm Thomas Ryan of the Lean Farmer, and today we got multiple improvements to show you, plus we'll catch up on a little bit of things with you on what's been going on around the farm, so check it out. So after the water finally went down and we could get out, the next morning, sure enough, it's snowing. How crazy is that for Virginia? And then crossing that bridge with water coming over in the dark, that was fun. And then we still had some water coming over the bridge, and right there, Ellie Mae, our dog, had walked right along that edge and almost fell off and went in the river. So we had to pull her back and hold her off to the side. She wants to be out there, but it was just too dangerous. And then just had to spend time trying to pull up whatever we could pull up and try to unclog the drains more. And the water level was just really high. So after that, Jenny and I decided to go on a quarantine date. So Jenny and I have spied that field right over there. The crazy color. Like the yellow-green. We're gonna go try to figure out what that is. I don't think we've ever seen that up here like that before. It's pretty wild looking. So we're back down across the bridge, and then we actually got to kind of study the effects of the flood. And this field right up from the driveway, you can see where the water got all up in the field and in the road. You see all the debris and how high it got up on the actual fence. And you can see the field out there, it completely filled up that field full of water, which we've never seen before. Even caused the fence to get pushed over because of the flow. And then you can see how high it was up on the road. And then in this field, it also covered this field, which has never happened before. So we were able to get a closer look, and it turned out it's just a bunch of like wildflowers growing in the field there. You can see some deer off to the left, past this beautiful church. And the flowers were absolutely amazing. Made the circle back down to the river, and this field was completely flooded. You can see all the dirt coming up in the field. You can see the ruts in the road. So you can also see that the water actually did get up into the road because it's washed all this river sand up in here. So a day or two later, water was off the bridge, but we still had some issues with the bridge. So we still got some debris that we got to work on cleaning up. But the biggest issue we got is all of this filled in where we have some pipes. So one of my earlier improvements, it's hard to see, but there's a little orange dot there, so I know there's a pipe right there, and obviously there's no water flow. So I got to work on getting that cleaned up. So I started digging it out, which I've done before. Then my neighbor showed up with his tractor, and he started trying to dig it out with his tractor, driving the hay spear way down in there, trying to open it up. But in the long run, really the only thing you do is kind of move the sand out of the way, and ultimately I had to go back and dig it by hand. I already know I'm getting close because I'm getting some discoloration coming out of the pipe. And I'm also getting some circulation going right here, so I cracked it a little bit. It's got to go a little further. Got a little more flow out of her. And quite a bit more action going on over here. I was able to open it up. So one of the other improvements that I made is when I have to pull debris off the bridge, I've been using this strap. And you can tell it's pretty worn. But it's kind of a pain. It's actually two straps put together. And so if you go to loop that around something, you have to take this piece and run through this piece. And when it's wet, it hangs up and it binds. And sometimes it's really just hard to get wrapped around stuff. So I wanted to try something, find something that'd be a little easier. So I actually had this old dog cable. So it's just like an old dog run, right? You know, clicks on the dog's collar, and then the other end, you know, clicks onto something else. So I was a little leery. I didn't know if this would work good or not because I thought it might break. But it actually worked great. And it's easier because to loop it around a log or something like that, I just unhook it and slide it around and loop it versus fighting with the strap. So this worked out really good. Ellie Mae. Hey, so after the last two videos that I made, I've had a couple of subscribers, which is awesome, make some comments on how to improve what my videos were about or what the actual improvements were about. And so check out these things that different folks suggested and I ran with, and they are turning out to be great improvements. So last week, I talked about the cattle guard and how we have to dig the cattle guard out, and I talked about how use this shovel and it just was horrible previously. So I switched to this shovel, and it actually worked really good. It's this square, flat shovel. You can get right down on the edges and get the dirt out. But somebody, had actually a couple people make ideas. Somebody said, look, you should actually like cut that down so you can go long ways with it. And somebody else said, hey, why don't you just buy a different type of shovel? And I was like, man, there's no way there is a different type of shovel. But sure enough, that got me to looking, and check this shovel out. Perfectly designed to fit right down in there. And then what that will allow you to do is it'll allow you to go long ways instead of having to fight the little short shovel pulls. So this is going to be an excellent addition to cleaning out the cattle guard. I recently made a video about all of my chainsaw equipment being in this tub. Made some improvements there. Then I added my safety gear to the tub. And then somebody that watched and subscribed said, hey, I would prefer a bigger tub, and I prefer one with a lid. So I got an old tub that I found that we weren't using, and I'm gonna make an improvement here. So I got everything in the tub. I got the Kaizen foam, the gas, the oil, all my files in the bottom of the tub. I got my chaps, and I got my helmet in there, so that works great. And the other reason I like this is because I can't put the top on it. So after they made the suggestion, I thought about it, and I was like, you know, that's a really good idea. I got my chaps in there, leave it out in the shed. Sometimes mice can get into things, so this will make it easy, make sure it's protected, and if I need to take it somewhere, it's easy to grab and go. Hey, so last week I showed you this cool turtle that I found while I was working at the cattle guard. And this week I've got some new life on the farm, and that is in the form of some new barn cats. So barn cats are important on our place because we have a lot of grain around and they help keep the mice down. And unfortunately, because we live kind of in the middle of nowhere and coyotes are quite a problem, we lose a lot of barn cats to coyotes. So getting a fresh litter of kittens is always a good thing as far as keeping the barn cats around. So check this out, pretty fun thing to find on the farm. Yeah, I know you'll probably move now, won't you? Yeah, I don't blame you. Teeny, teeny, tiny. They look pretty full.